In the 6th century BCE, a remarkable figure rose from the highlands of ancient Persia, a figure whose vision and strategy would reshape the political landscape of the ancient Near East. His name was Cyrus II of Persia, better known as Cyrus the Great. Over the course of roughly 3 decades, he transformed Persia from a relatively obscure vassal state into the core of the vast Achaemenid Empire, the largest the world had seen up to that point. But Cyrus's greatness was not solely defined by the scale of his conquests. It lay in the nature of his leadership, his governance, and the ideological foundations he laid for imperial rule. Before Cyrus, Persia was under the dominion of the Median Empire, which itself had risen in the vacuum left by the collapse of Assyrian power. The Persian kings of Anshan Cyrus's ancestors were subject to the Median king Astyages, a ruler whose authority was waning amidst internal discontent. According to classical sources, such as Herodotus and Ctesias, Cyrus was born to a noble lineage, but emerged as a rebel with a cause. His revolt against Astyages around 550 BCE marked not only a political rebellion, but the beginning of a fundamental reordering of the regional power structure. The Medes were defeated in part because Cyrus was a master of exploiting division. He won the loyalty of key Median generals, including Harpagus, who had personal grievances against Astyages. This strategic use of defection and loyalty turned what could have been a long civil war into a swift and decisive victory. With the fall of Ecbatana, Cyrus absorbed Media, but he did so not as a destroyer. He preserved its institutions and elites, creating a precedent for inclusive rule. Having secured the Iranian plateau, Cyrus turned his gaze westward toward Lydia, a wealthy kingdom in Anatolia, ruled by the famed Croesus. Lydia was no easy target. It boasted significant military strength, considerable wealth, and strategic alliances. Yet Cyrus's campaign against Lydia in 547 BCE demonstrated his ability to adapt and innovate. When Croesus sought to take the initiative by launching a preemptive strike, Cyrus met him near the Halys River. The Lydian cavalry, feared throughout the region, was thrown into chaos when Persian forces employed camels to break their lines, psychological tactic exploiting horses' instinctual fear of the unfamiliar. After this defeat, Cyrus pursued Croesus back to Sardis, captured the city, and absorbed its territory into the Persian fold. Through this victory, he not only gained access to Anatolia's wealth, but also inherited control over the Ionian Greek cities, introducing Persia to the complex politics of the Greek world. The most emblematic conquest of Cyrus's reign, however, was that of Babylon in 539 BCE. Babylon was more than a city. It was a symbol of imperial continuity, cultural sophistication, and ancient power. Yet by the time Cyrus approached its gates, the city was roiling with dissatisfaction. King Nabonidus had alienated key constituencies, especially the powerful priesthood of Marduk, by promoting alternative religious cults. Cyrus capitalized on this discontent, entering the city without resistance in what many ancient sources describe as a divinely sanctioned liberation. The so-called Cyrus Cylinder, discovered in the ruins of Babylon and often hailed as the earliest charter of human rights, details his policies of religious tolerance and repatriation. While modern historians view the cylinder more critically, as a piece of carefully constructed royal propaganda, it nonetheless reflects a significant political reality. Cyrus won loyalty through clemency, not cruelty. What made Cyrus's empire durable wasn't just its geographic span, but its ideological coherence. He implemented a model of rule that respected local autonomy while ensuring central control. Unlike previous empires that sought to erase regional identities, Cyrus recognized that sustaining loyalty required cultural accommodation. In Mesopotamia, he restored traditional religious rights. In Anatolia, he retained local satraps and aristocracies. This administrative pragmatism, combined with a growing bureaucracy and infrastructure, laid the foundation for an empire that could administer diverse populations without constant rebellion. Cyrus's death around 530 BCE marked the end of a remarkable career, but not the end of his influence. Accounts of his death vary, with some placing him in battle against Central Asian nomads. He was buried at Pasargadae in a tomb that, though simple, stood as a powerful testament to his legacy. Even centuries later, Alexander the Great reportedly visited the tomb and paid tribute, recognizing in Cyrus a kindred spirit of empire and ambition. From a scholarly standpoint, Cyrus represents a rare synthesis of conqueror and statesman. He wielded force when necessary, but he preferred to win allegiance through integration rather than annihilation. His model of empire, a decentralized system balancing imperial cohesion with regional diversity, became a blueprint for later regimes, including the Roman, Byzantine, and Islamic empires. The extent to which Cyrus was genuinely benevolent or merely effective in his propaganda is still debated, yet the evidence suggests his approach was revolutionary for its time. In the modern world, Cyrus's legacy has been invoked in diverse contexts. From Enlightenment thinkers to the United Nations, his image as a just ruler has endured, sometimes mythologized, but never entirely dismissed. His story forces us to reconsider the foundations of power, not just how empires expand, but how they endure. In Cyrus's hands, conquest was not the end, but the beginning of a political experiment grounded in tolerance, diplomacy, and vision. As we study the rise of Persia under Cyrus the Great, we uncover not just the history of a man, but the origins of an idea that empire, at its best, can be built not just on the sword, but on the soul of its people.